The NHL is absolutely horrified of this Anaheim Ducks team as they're getting contributions from up and down the lineup. And we're going to break down exactly why this team is going to make a big splash. We're going to break down all of this in this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into all of that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. We've noticed that about 72% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with what's going on in the NHL, or maybe your favorite team from the Anaheim Ducks to the Minnesota Wild, all the way to the Ottawa Senators, go down below, hit that free subscribe button, and you get to stay up to date with everything that's happening around the league. But Mark, we got to talk about one of the most exciting teams in the NHL right now. Maybe not the best team. They ultimately lost to the best team last night, but that's nothing to hang your, head on or anything like that. I mean, they are still 11-4-1, which is super impressive to start this still relatively young season. And they have a young budding star in Leo Carlsson, who I want to get to in a second. But you can see in terms of goal scoring, point production, they are all on point. Everybody is chipping in. I mean, you have rookies that have 11 points in 16 games in Beckett Sennecke. You have Jacob Trouba, who's playing really well. What do you make of this Ducks team so far? And a budding superstar, because I want to get into it, in Leo Carlsson, because he is unbelievable so far this year.
And I think going back to the game versus the Colorado Avalanche, listen, Ducks fan, you're going to end up losing a game. Going 18-2-0 is not possible in the NHL. And I think losing to this team, this is a Colorado team that has won a Stanley Cup. They have a core. But the thing the Ducks have on them is youth, the funness, and a team that's going to continuously be good year after year. Now, listen, you drop this game, you're still 8-2 over your last 10, and this is a team that's going to progressively get better. They're going to go through adversity. They're going to take some bad losses, but I think this is a Ducks team that's going to continuously push farther and farther and confuse and make a lot of other teams really shocked on how good they truly are and why they should be horrified. And I mean, going into the skaters at the moment, you're seeing production from not only the youth, you have some aging guys that are stepping in. Chris Kreider, Trouba's having his resurgent year. Darius, the biggest thing with this team is they're getting production absolutely everywhere. Once again, we talk about it a bunch. Coach Q needs his flowers for what he's done with the system and the team. But Chris Kreider himself, 9 goals in 12 games. We've seen him miss some time, but still 34 years old. Going into what feels like a career year, Darius, I don't know if you feel any different, but I think one loss, yes, it kind of sucks to see. You want to see a huge win streak, but I think this is a loss that they can build on and truly get better and better each and every game.
Yeah, and you talk about them being a young team. They're insulated by some, older talent like Jacob Trouba and Chris Kreider, for example, who's having a great season after what happened in New York last year. Of course, battling illness and injury last year, but you're going to lose games if you're a young team in this league. You're going to. But if you're going to lose a game, it might as well be to the best team in the league. Look at the Avalanche's record so far this year. They've been absolutely on fire. They are firing on all cylinders, and they come out hot out of the gate every single game, and they did again last night. But Leo Carlsson, this is the guy I want to get to now. He is a budding superstar in this league, and if you look at what he's doing so far this season, 16 games played, Mark, he has 26 points. He's only 20 years old. You made the joke the last video we did that he can't even legally buy a drink in Anaheim yet, and he's putting up these numbers. He almost can. He's almost there. He's almost 21, but he's playing, just shy of 19 minutes a night. You look at all the advanced analytics. This guy is an absolute stud. He is on pace for well over 100 points at this point. I think he's going to slow down a little bit as certain teams, figure him out, obviously. But if you look at his last 5 games, like, this is a budding superstar. He's putting up multi-point games every single game against good teams, by the way. I mean, Florida has dipped a little bit so far this year, but you're doing this against Dallas, Vegas, Winnipeg, Colorado. Like, these are all good teams. It's not like they're playing Buffalo every night or something like that, right? Like, he's doing this against the best talent in the league. And again, you have other insiders and media personality talking about how, they only lost 1 time in regulation in a month and a half. Like, that's super impressive. If you look at all the advanced analytics as a team, not just Carlsson. I want your thoughts on Carlsson in a second. Of course, let us know in the comments how you feel about Carlsson. But, if you look at all the advanced analytics, this is from Money Puck. They are, somewhere in between being a fun and a good team, which is exactly where you want to be. Like, that's perfect. They're exciting to watch, and they're genuinely good. So, when was the last time we saw the Ducks, Mark, in a position like this to make the playoffs. I mean, we're almost at Thanksgiving. They're almost at 90%, a 90% chance to make the playoffs. I can't remember the last time that happened for this Ducks team, and it's a brand new era. They have so many good young stars, and they're insulated by older, but still producing talent.
And I mean, the big thing is, I like going back to one of the first NHL games I seen. The Ducks were playing, and in this game, you had Ryan Getzlaf, Corey Perry, and it felt like maybe that was the last time the Ducks had this very competitive roster, but stepping in with the new age talent. This is awesome to see. Like you said, fun hockey and winning hockey goes together better than peanut butter and jelly. This is a team that's going to consistently get better. And going to Leo Carlsson, I believe the youngest player in Ducks history to have 100 points at his age. You see him on, I think it's a 10-game point streak as well. Everything this forward is doing for the Ducks is insane and showing why a lot of people doubted them for taking him at 2. But this is looking like an absolute steal. And listen, the second overall pick, not so much a steal, but getting him there and not passing up on him is one of the best things the Ducks have done in recent years, other than being an absolute wagon at this point. Looking at the stats, you can see the stats over the last 5 games. They're 8-2 over their last 10. They've lost 1 game over the past month. This is a Ducks team, Darius, that is so fun to watch. And just going into the game versus Colorado, once again, that is a wagon of a team as well. A team that's been there, has won a Stanley Cup. Losing this game once again sucks, yes, but you're going to build off these situations. And I don't know, I'm just fired up about this Ducks team.
Yeah, and if you're going to lose games like that, that's a lesson that you can take from a more experienced team like the Colorado Avalanche to, apply to yourself as a team. And speaking of the team, I mean, obviously on paper, this still looks fine and they're playing fantastic, but they're missing quite a few players due to injury right now. I mean, you're missing 2 centermen in Granlund and Strome, which is huge. You're missing your captain in Radko Gudas, who's another physical force, but yet this lineup still looks good and is still playing well. You have the goaltending, maybe besides Mrazek, just to steal your joke from last video as well. But obviously Dostal is that guy. And then when you look up and down the lineup, I mean, Frank Vatrano as a scoring winger on your 4th line, that is some depth, right? Especially when your top guys are your young talent. They're playing so well, like Carlsson, like Kreider, like Cutter Gauthier, who we didn't even mention in this video, Mason McTavish as well, who just signed a new contract, who's having a decent season. You have Alex Killorn, who's won a Stanley Cup. Like, you look up and down the lineup, they look pretty good. And then you just signed Jackson Lacombe to a new contract extension. Zellweger is a great defenseman too, a little bit on the smaller side, but a great defenseman. So lots of reasons to be very excited about this team, including the fact, Mark, that because of their current salary cap structure, if they continue to be this hot, they can add significant pieces at the deadline. So before we wrap up here, do you think this team is poised to be a buyer at the deadline? Because I feel like they might think they could possibly go for it. They're still very inexperienced. I don't know if they could win a Stanley Cup right now, and the salary cap structure will change, but I think they can add a few pieces and try to go a round or 2 deep into the playoffs to get some of those younger guys at least that experience, so then they're in the mix every year.
I mean, if you bring up the lineup once again, I think this is a team that, yes, you can go out to buy, but you also have Strome that has a jump in this lineup at some position going forward. You still have Granlund that has a jump in as well. So I think once they get healthy, you're going to start looking at this roster to maybe add. Listen, the New York Rangers are struggling. Maybe you go out and get Panarin for pennies on the dollar once again, like we've seen with Trouba and Kreider. But this is a team that's in the perfect position that if you don't end up winning this year, and listen, they're going to go into the playoffs with their heads going through every team possible, but I think if you don't win, you still have such a bright future with the young core that if you buy, you're in a great position. If you don't buy, you still get better, Darius. So I think the Ducks are almost one of the best positions team in the NHL.
Absolutely, I think they are, and that's on the back of Leo Carlsson and others, and they've been playing fantastic hockey behind obviously Joel Quenneville, who's just come in as the head coach and is doing a great job with this young group. And I likened it in a video we did before to the Chicago Blackhawks and kind of what they looked like when they were coming up. Some younger talent, of course, mixed in with some older talent. Then they went on to win 3 Stanley Cups in 6 years. Will that happen? I'm not so sure, but I think they're well on their way to being a fantastic team with some really good players. So let us know in the comments how you feel about this Anaheim Ducks team, what you think they're going to do this year. Do you think they're going to make any moves at the deadline? And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything going on around the NHL.